Yeah. You know we gotta have a feel-good joint on here, y'all. And it's only fitting because the gospel is the ground and the reason for our joy. Not our performance or our circumstances, but the unchanging person and work of Jesus Christ. Let's get in it, yeah. Yo, it's been a minute since I was spitting, cause I was in a pit of sins. They asked him, what was your deliverance? I say, Christ died and rose 2,000 years ago. He gave to sin, death, and Satan the fiercest blow. So when the walk it is tough and awfully rough and falling in lust, I'm here to say the gospel's enough.
Tim, I thought the gospel's for missions.
Yeah, but Romans 1:15, Paul wants to preach the gospel to Christians. So I say, Hosanna, I came to stand up and wave this banner. The gospel be my daily manna. It's not that I gotta get saved daily, but it's strong encouragement. God will today embrace me, so I can from selfish pleasures turn to Christ, who's my righteousness I can never earn. It's more important than my poor performance, the only sure assurance that the Lord is for us, cause Jesus is interceding for me now. So when God sees me, he's guaranteeing that he smiles. Christ is the guarantee, God's favor's upon me by faith, and not and if yesterday I was godly. Yeah. So no matter the circumstance, the cross is proof God's fabulous purpose stands. So the Father's covenant love, nothing can budge. It's as sure as the life of his son who's above. Yo, it's the daily gospel, cause I need the gospel daily. I often waver, myself is awful shaky, but I see God's love at the cross so plainly. The gospel is the power of God to change me. It's the daily gospel, cause we need the gospel daily. We often waver, we know we're awful shaky, but in the gospel, I know he'll not forsake me. It's what fuels our love for you, God, to praise thee. As I apply the scripts, yo, I'm convinced the gospel's the rescue for my defying sins. Where in the Bible am I finding this? This is Paul's tie-in bridge to Romans 5 and 6. He says the power of sin's dominion lies in its guilt. So if guilt reigns over me, then I'm tied to my filth. But this is why Jesus was bearing my sick sin, to suffer its guilt and then bury it with him. Now with God my relationship is amended, all because Jesus now lives and ascended. I'm seen as righteous, as him it is splendid. So now the reign of guilt and sin's dominion is ended. So now my life's in true and right is his, cause by faith God's imputed Christ who lives. Union with Christ, a truly priceless gift. So now grace reigns through his righteousness. Since my sin debt's completely paid at the tree, no matter how I feel, in the Savior I'm free. So sin can no longer reign over me, cause I'm united to Christ who's raised up indeed. New life, God's attached us to Jesus's, alive to God to practice obedience. So I'm on some everyday, let's fall on Christ and follow right, call it the gospel for all of life. Yo, it's the daily gospel, cause I need the gospel daily. I often waver, myself is awful shaky, but I see God's love at the cross so plainly. The gospel is the power of God to change me. It's the daily gospel, cause we need the gospel daily. We often waver, we know we're awful shaky, but in the gospel, I know he'll not forsake me. It's what fuels our love for you, God, to praise thee. So you're broken, and you know you have sins too. Where do you go when he shows you your issues? Run to Christ, cause his gospel's his riches. See the gospel in all of the scriptures. In the gospel, God pardons sins, but he also promises to wash your heart and cleanse. So I must make the statement, we're sanctified more and more as we feed on our justification. Cause the first root of my sin is unbelief in God's goodness and his abundant love for me. Another root of sin is self-righteousness, but the gospel says my only help's Christ who lives. And my pride and idolatry will die as I constantly look to Christ and in the gospel see an astronomically awesome God indeed, way greater than any the world can possibly offer me. And when I see my beautiful Savior who suffered for all of the numerous ways I have blundered, I'm then moved to be truly gracious to others and exhibit the Spirit's fruit of patience to brothers. But most of all, the gospel brings me close to my Father, so in the warmth of his love I can soak like a sauna. So now I wanna obey him and show him my honor, not to earn his love, but as a chosen responder. Yo, it's the daily gospel, cause I need the gospel daily. I often waver, myself is awful shaky, but I see God's love at the cross so plainly. The gospel is the power of God to change me. It's the daily gospel, cause we need the gospel daily. We often waver, we know we're awful shaky, but in the gospel, I know he'll not forsake me. It's what fuels our love for you, God, to praise thee.